Hi, I'm Kolb, and this is my third activity. This activity is going to be directed towards the lower level readers. My book is El Barrio by Debbie Chocolate and illustrated by David Diaz. For this activity, I called it Building the Story. I think with second grade and younger students, they do really well with having manipulatives in front of them. So what I decided to do was I got a hold of my stepson's Legos, and I built them into little towers. So for this activity, I'm going to have my students work on retelling the story with using the Lego blocks. This can be done in a multitude of ways. As a teacher, you can either set it up for them, set it up for your beginning, your middle, and your end, or you can break it apart and let them, stack it how they want. They can do top to bottom, or you can just take you can leave them blank for the students and have them identify the beginning and the middle and the end. What I also have is you have, they come apart. Oh, goodness gracious. They, minor difficulty. So you have, if you separate them and you break them apart and you leave them just like this for your students, these are examples of parts of the story. It's not the whole story from beginning to end, but it's a part of the story that I want the students to retell in the correct order. So I have, the sister's first communion, his sister gives away her baby dolls, and then the quinceañera party. So it depends on how they want to go. If they want to go from top to bottom, his sister's first communion was the first thing. And then after that, she had her quinceañera party, so they could stack it on top or below. And then after that, she finished with her sister gave away her baby dolls at her quinceañera. So that's one way to have students just kind of identify what they learned. Another thought I had for it was leaving them multiple little sheets of paper with already predetermined parts in the story, and have them be the one to be able to stick it onto the Lego. A good way to do this might be to have Velcro already stuck on, so they can just take it on and off. I didn't have Velcro available, so I made do with tape. But being able to have them stack it themselves, and then explaining to their group or their partner why they did it the way they did. I also left blank ones for my students so that they could go through the story themselves and think of different parts of the story that they could retell. Just a little tidbit. It could be a total of 3 pages and them retelling it just in the order that it's supposed to go is my main goal. The standard for this was LAFS.2.RL.2.5, and it's to describe the overall structure of a story, including describing how the beginning introduces a story and the ending concludes the action. So, which goes with retelling the story. I really, really want to focus on my students being able to just break down a story and retell it. For my more advanced students, if they can retell the story in multiple ways, so instead of doing beginning, middle, end, they could retell it by going from the end first, end, middle, beginning, just to show that they understand where the story is going from point A to point B. My rubric for this was focused on a 10-point total. And I have 2 different sections. It's retelling the story and then participation and focus again. I like in activity 2. For my retelling the story at the very lower level, the student was not able to recount the story in the correct order and had difficulty remembering details. You really want the student to at least grasp onto your main details. If they can't do that, then we really need to go back and find where they're missing or they're confused. For my top 5 points, the student was able to recount the story in multiple ways, beginning, middle, end, ending, middle, beginning, as well as come up with details from the story than the ones that I have previously provided. So they'd use the blank slips of paper and come up with their own. And this is just a glimpse, if you can see that, of the rubric. And yeah, that's a basic gist of the assignment. I would have students, they can work in pairs, they can just work in their total of small group. I think that by having the hands-on really helps students visualize, where's my other ones? This is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. And if they want, they can go more in depth and do, this is the beginning. I have one section of the middle, I have another section of the middle that happened, like 2 big ideas, and then that's the end. And they can build it any way they want. I think it's a really helpful way for all student levels to be able to just think back in the story and put it all together in one. This is my 3rd activity. I hope you enjoyed it.